Hey guys, welcome back to Retro Pop Planet. I'm back for the final installment of the Kylo Ren Lightsaber. Now, the reason it's taking so long to get this one out to you is because I had a couple issues with it. I don't know if it's the way that it was played with before I purchased it from the thrift store, but the top part of it actually cracked after my last video, where you could actually see me using my Dremel tool and grinding out this plastic on the inside so I could put the plumbing fixture. Unfortunately, several days after I made that video, the plastic actually cracked, and I've been working out different ways to fix it. I think I finally got it to a point where I'm happy with the end result. Now I'm ready to actually get to the fun part, which is the painting and the weathering. One of the coolest things about the Kylo Ren character is that, to my knowledge, he's one of the only Force users in the Star Wars universe that has a crusty, beat up, sort of a homebrew lightsaber that he uses. And if you've actually seen the Rise of Skywalker, towards the end of the movie, there's a scene where they actually focus on Kylo Ren's saber, and it is just gutted. I mean, this wire is barely even hanging on anymore. I really want to go for that look when we're actually working on this. I've been eagerly awaiting the opportunity to actually work on this. So without further ado, let's just get painting a saber. So up here at the joint is where the plastic cracked, and I ended up using some Bondo glazing and spot putty. It's pretty quick drying, and it worked pretty good. Now the paint that I'm using here is just regular old Testors paint. If any of you have done model kits like I have in the past, then this is just going to be old hat to you. It's an oil-based paint, so you're going to need some sort of a thinner or turpentine in order to get it off your hands and to clean the contact points like your brush. Now, I did read fairly recently that the company that now owns Testors paints was actually going to be discontinuing them. So I don't know if that's true or not. Let me know if that is the case. I'm doing an initial base coat on these wires, the red, the blue, and then I'm going to go in with the gold. I found a screen used prop on the internet, and I'm using that photo as a bit of a guide as I'm going through my saber, trying to get as much of a screen accurate, detailed version as that I can. Kids craft brushes. Everybody has some of these at home, right? And shoe polish. Why am I using shoe polish? Well, I'm going to show you guys a really cool technique for doing some aging, weathering, and some finer detail. This is going to get grimy. Yes, that's right. I'm using it as my base layer of paint. Now, I know in advance this is going to take several coats because The screen used prop is black. I am just coating this thing. It's time to just get funky. Now you're going to want to coat this thing very, very, very liberally, but you're also going to want to make sure that you take time between coats and let it dry thoroughly, because it'll stay tacky to the touch for a while and your fingertips can actually leave marks on the surface. I love how it's bubbling up and getting into the cracks. I imagine that this is what they mean by carbon scoring. In the Star Wars universe, the lightsaber letting off emissions that encrust the top part of the saber and just sort of get in there and leave that carbon element that's stuck on the surface. Now, I know there's a lot of controversy surrounding these past 3 movies. I have my gripes with them as well. I do like several of the characters, and to be honest with you, I've been playing a ton of Star Wars Battlefront 2. They had several new releases dropped, and I've just been loving the game. I've been playing on my PlayStation 4. I'm using a Scour Pad here and a bit of water. Now this is my absolute favorite part of the entire weathering process. This is just the most fun part. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to really want to soak this Scour Pad and get it wet, because you're going to start removing layers of this shoe polish from the surface down to the silver layer underneath. But you want to be careful that you don't actually rub off the silver layer. One of the things you could do to protect the silver layer underneath is actually use a primer coat before you put the shoe polish on. I did not do that at this particular time, but I'm just using a steady hand and a steady motion and going slow, and I'm a little bit more methodical with this part. Get in there with that Scour Pad. Figure out where you think Kylo's hands would wear down the surface. Think about where the contact points are, the areas of the saber that would hit if it were to skitter or fall or drop or get bashed. Those areas that are going to be ravaged by use. You can almost hear Kylo's voice coming through that amplified speaker in his helmet when he gets angry, and you kind of take out a little bit of that anger on the saber itself. He's not gentle, he's not a calm force user, he's got a lot of pent up anger, and as a result, this saber probably doesn't get a lot of care. It is used as more of a tool of destruction rather than something to be revered. Now we're going to get into bluing the saber pipes. Now if you guys have a motorcycle, if you've seen an old vehicle, bluing is excessive heat from exhaust gases, and it can cause a motorcycle's shiny chrome, the exhaust pipes, to quickly discolor and turn blue. It's actually a common problem. I studied my own motorcycle's exhaust. What I first did is I came down with a layer of the gold. Then I come back in with a layer of red, and an in-between coats. Don't wait too long because this is oil finish that we're using with the tester's paints. You want to come in, you a couple passes with a dry brush, and then you want to get in there with a paper towel and dab away at it. You don't have to be too concerned with perfection here because real bluing is not perfect. It's a heat transfer process. And then once you lay down the red, you want to put down your blue. Now this is the bluing. You want to make sure you cover it pretty liberally and then brush off the excess, and you get this really amazing finish. Now let's get to those final results. Well guys, there you have it. Another project in the books. I'm really happy with the way this thing turned out. I just think it looks awesome. It feels heavy. It feels like something that would have been used by Kylo Ren. I just love the weathering. I just think it's grimy. It's definitely got a used feeling about it. I think it definitely fits in well with the Star Wars universe. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Please leave me a comment, like, subscribe if that's your thing. I know we're kind of all sitting at home. I'm actually going through a list of some of the projects that I've been wanting to tackle for months now, and I just haven't been able to get around to them. Hopefully you can stretch your mind a little bit and get creative. I know it's tough out there right now, but creativity is something I think that can sort of help you take your mind off of what's going on in the world. I'll see you guys on the next one.